Hello and welcome back. Welcome to the final segment of this week's presentation for Politics of Southeast Europe on processes of accession to Europe and the influence of Europe in Southeast Europe in the candidate and potential candidate states. What I want to do in this final segment is to offer some suggestions about what we can say in general about the influence of Europe and of the European accession processes in the region. We are calling this conclusions, but of course I am not here to tell you what to conclude. This is a matter for discussion, and you of course will make your own interpretations. But let me make a few suggestions for things that we might be able to conclude based on what we've gone over in the previous segments. First, what we can say about the European Union, there are many ways in which the European Union is imperfect, in which its strategy has some flaws. But on balance, it probably offers a better model than other models that could become available. There is a general emphasis on democracy, on rule of law, on the efficiency and accountability of institutions that is not a priority in other systems. The weaknesses of Europe and of the European Union are weaknesses that are inherent in the liberal democratic system that it promotes. It is a lack of internal consistency, a level of uncertainty with regard to the values that it proclaims, a lack of unity in approaches to the outside world, both the near and far parts of the outside worlds. And at bottom, a point that we've made before is the basic contribution of liberal democracy, and this is something that is experienced on a large scale in all of the states of the region, and that is the contradiction between processes that promote structural democracy and formal democracy, democratic procedures, and economic outcomes that tend to undermine democracy. A second thing that we can say is that the influence of Europe was probably strongest in the period when there was a broad consensus that unified the powerful states of both Europe and North America, and when Europe had no serious competitors that could claim, with anything like a high degree of plausibility, that the path of European integration was the only path available to states in the region. In more recent times, and in particular since the economic crisis that began in 2008 and in the face of some other political developments that we've also discussed, this claim has become less plausible over time. A third thing that we can say is that the attraction of Europe is both political, that is, it offers the promise of consolidated democracy and irreversible reform, and it is also economic. That is, it provides access to means of enhancing prosperity in potential member states. But these appeals are not necessarily consistent with one another, and they are not in all cases directed toward the same domestic audiences. That is, the people interested in prosperity may not be the same people as the ones interested in democracy, and these goals can come into conflict with one another. And these attractions also depend on conditions that appear themselves not to be permanent. They were more persuasive in 2000 than they are now, at a time when Europe is faced with both economic and political crises. A final point that I would offer as a suggested conclusion is that the process of accession is a political process that has the appearance of being a technical process. And this fact tends to discredit the process for two reasons. First, states have a very strong engagement to engage in apparent compliance, that is, in solely formal compliance without engaging in substantive reform. And second, even when states do comply, there are a number of reasons why the EU can fail to respond to conditions being met for political reasons. That is, powerful states or even less powerful states, but which have veto power within the European Union, can prevent the European Union from responding to a condition that has been satisfied, leading to frustration, a slowing down of the process, and a decline in the appeal of the European Union across the region. So we can say that that generally this process of accession has some powerful elements, but it is uncertain, and the main reason that it is uncertain is that it is at least partly contested, both within the states and within Europe itself, and increasingly in recent years by the emergence of competition from outside of Europe. But all of these are points that I hope we'll be able to raise and discuss further during our seminar discussion.